she just thinks she's that girl. Like, she thinks she's it, you know? I don't like her.
She's not even all
She
that.
just does too much.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh, I could never.
Oh, hi.
Oh.
Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel where I help you glow up from the inside out. As you've probably guessed, today we are talking about how to handle haters. It's an inevitable part of glowing up, my loves. So we can't have these conversations about glowing up financially, physically, aesthetically, spiritually, and not talk about the consequence of doing so. Unfortunately, in life, the more you grow and the more you glow, the more people are going to be on the sidelines, giving you the stank eye and making assumptions about how you got there. So I've come up with an acronym that you need to keep in mind to help you deal with your haters. And that is EIRD. Exceptional Individuals Rise Daily. So the E stands for empathize. The I stands for ignore. The R stands for respond and don't react when ignoring isn't cutting it. And I'm going to save the D to the end. So make sure you stick around till then to find out what that is, because it's the #1 mistake that people make when dealing with haters. Okay, so who is a hater? Well, haters come in all shapes, sizes, genders, bank balances, and relationship statuses. Don't assume that just because somebody technically has more than you, maybe they're wealthier, or maybe they're in a relationship and you're not, but that doesn't mean that they won't hate on you. Because sometimes people hate on the physical, but sometimes people can hate on your spirit. People can hate on the fact that you have hope. People can hate on the fact that despite getting older, you still have that shine in your eye. You still have that childlike inquisition that they lost a long time ago. You'd be surprised at some of the things that trigger hatred in others. It's not just how you physically look or how much money you have. You could be the person with less who's being hated on because you're content with what you have. So let's start with the E for empathy. It's really hard to empathize with someone who is treating you like crap. But the only reason you have haters is because your hater is in pain. Happy people do not spend their time trying to bring others down. Happy people are not triggered by seeing other happy people. They would be celebrating. So you need to remember that anytime a hater makes a snide remark or does something to try and derail you or throw shade at you, they're just trying to make themselves feel better, because seeing you in all your glory is triggering to them. Is it right? No. But is it personal? No. It's about them and their need to try and make themselves feel better. To put it a different way, the hater has a lot of baggage, right? And as soon as you come around glowing, looking good, shining bright, that baggage starts to feel really, really heavy for them. Now, you didn't give them that baggage. They already had it, but your presence makes them really feel the weight of it because you seem so free and lighthearted and easy. So all of a sudden, they really notice how heavy these bags are. So what do? They try and get rid of them. And the best thing that most of them can think of is trying to give those bags to you. You take this feeling of ugliness that I have. You take this feeling of inadequacy that I have. You take this. Now, you don't have to take those bags. You don't have to pick up someone else's baggage and walk around with it and weigh yourself down. But have empathy for the fact that they are in so much pain that quite often when they see someone shining, they feel the weight of all the stuff they're carrying. Once you realize that your haters are in pain, it changes your perspective on things. And instead of thinking that they're these powerful people who are setting out to harm you, you just see them for what they are: sad, hurt, broken, and lacking the knowledge of how to improve. So remember that and empathize with the people who are trying to bring you down. Now, that doesn't mean you have to kiki with them. I would still advise you to keep your distance, but it does mean that you don't fight fire with fire. Never ever sink to their level, because that's making you the same as them, which is ultimately what they want. Sinking to their level is the same as picking up their baggage. This brings me nicely onto I for ignore. Once you recognize that this person's spiraling in front of you and it's because of their own baggage, you need to learn how to ignore it. You don't need to pay attention to the snide remarks. You don't need to let it ruin your day. Just ignore it. Sometimes I know that ignoring just doesn't cut it. And that's where the R comes in. Respond, don't react. There's a subtle but really important difference between these two things. Responding is taking the time to gather yourself emotionally. Maybe you count to 10, maybe you wait a day or two, gather your thoughts, take the emotion out of it, and then just stick to the facts. That is very different to reacting, which is, well, you know what, you're not that pretty yourself, or you're not even this. That is sinking to their level, which is equivalent to picking up their baggage. Because remember, if you want to make someone powerless, you cannot let them control your emotions. And reacting is doing just that. It's going off of impulse, and it's not pausing and considering what you're going to say before you say it. The number one mistake that people make when dealing with haters and insecure people is dimming their light. So the D stands for don't dim your light. I will say it once more for the people in the back. Don't dim your light. Dimming your light is just going to make you resentful, because if it's your spirit that they hate on, even if you don't wear your best clothes, even if you don't wear your best earrings, and even if you don't put your best face or foot forward, you still have that spirit. So you're going to be hated on anyway. It makes way more sense to be disliked for who you actually are than to be disliked for someone you're pretending to be. The world needs us to be our best selves. So as hard as it may be, even if it means losing people, stay firm in who you are. People may have to distance themselves. Not everyone can stand in the face of the sun without throwing shade. And that's not your problem. Now, of course, you don't want to share your business with these people. You don't have to tell them all the good news that you have. You don't have to tell them things that make you vulnerable. But equally, don't stop wearing the clothes that you want to wear. And don't stop showing up in the way that you want to show up. Because you're going to be disliked anyway. So you might as well be disliked for being who you actually are. And I know you've probably heard it before, my loves, but it is very true. Haters are confused admirers. People don't hate on people that they're not threatened by. It's never about what you're doing wrong. It's always about what you're doing right. So keep doing it and make sure you surround yourself with positive people where you can. Maybe you can't choose your colleagues, but you can choose your friends. Maybe you can't choose your family, but you can choose to give yourself moments of peace every day. And in future videos, I'm going to be sharing some key tips on how I keep myself happy. So make sure you stick around so that you get those as well. I hope you found this video helpful, my loves. I'm sorry you're dealing with haters, but welcome to this tribe where we're going to shine regardless. Make sure that you subscribe and like, and I'd love to see your comments down below. Take care. Mwah.